Hi there, welcome back to Fully Blessed. I'm Amanda, and this is the channel where we discuss timeless truths about issues that are important for women of faith. And today we are talking about a subject that is extremely sensitive and controversial and widely debated among the Christian community, and that's the issue of complementarianism. So let's talk a little bit about that today. We'll talk a little bit about what is it, what isn't it, and how does this impact us, and what does this look like. But I want to start off by saying that I recognize this is a pretty big deal. And this is likely going to bring about a lot of emotions and feelings. So let's take a deep breath and just be ready to listen and to think with an open mind and pause and consider. So, two qualifications that I want to start off with, and that would be that this is an extremely debatable issue that good, solid believers on both sides can disagree on, and that is okay. So let's not judge anybody. Let's just take a deep breath and recognize that we can have different beliefs on this. I also want to recognize that there can be varying shades of complementarianism. One person or one church might profess to hold a complementarian viewpoint, and what they do is going to look different from a different church who also hold to a complementarian position. So just recognize that there's some different shades of how this is going to play out. So, what exactly is complementarianism? Well, it's basically the belief that men and women are different, equal in worth and value, but made differently for different jobs, to do different things, and we react in different ways. And that's great. Now, obviously there are exceptions, but this is a general rule as a whole. And the opposite of that would be egalitarianism, which basically says that really there's no difference between men and women. We're both equal, we can do all the same things. There really isn't any distinction in how we function and how we operate. So if that's what complementarianism is, at a very simple definition, then here's what it is not. When I say complementarianism, please don't hear that means we need to be mindless robots who just obey all the time. No. There will be things that even as we are in a complementarian position and in a complementarian church mindset, there will be things that while we submit, we still have our own thoughts. And that's okay. That's good, actually. It's also not I never get to have a say. No, that's not true. There will be times when we will be sharing our opinions in a marriage. A complementarian position might be that, yeah, my husband is the leader. I'm going to defer to his leadership. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give input. And that doesn't mean that he's not going to ask for my thoughts and my wishes in what we should do. We're a team, right? That's how that goes. So don't hear me say, nope, you're never going to have an input. It also does not mean that women in a complementarian setting will never lead in any way. There are things that we can lead in. There are many things that we will be helpers and leaders in, but we must recognize that that's not going to be our primary role, and that won't most likely be filled by us. So, some things that I've come to learn is that, yeah, we definitely have different strengths as men and women. And this is great. This is how God has made us. And so let's use that. Let's work in those giftings and those callings. That's a beautiful thing. I feel like I have been learning more about how God has specifically made women and men differently. We innately know and innately react differently, and He has designed us that way for a purpose. Okay? That doesn't mean that we will all do these things. As I said, these are some general rules as a whole. But as a whole, God has called the men to be leaders. And so we can help that by encouraging them and being their helpers. And this is great. Now, please note, that doesn't mean that all men are automatically qualified to be leaders just because they are men. They have specific qualifications too, and they have roles and guidelines for that as well. But our role is not to be in that position. Our job is to be their helper and their supporter, and that's great. I also want to stress, and this is probably one of the newest and most helpful things that I had learned, is this isn't a question of your capability as a woman. When we say that men are to be the leaders, we weren't saying it's because that women aren't smart enough or wouldn't do a good job or are not physically able to. We might very well be able to do that, but that's not the calling that God has for us. He has asked the men to do that because there needs to be order, there needs to be structure, and there needs to be stability. And so works best when we let the men do that, and we submit and we come along as their helpers. And this is a safety thing for us, women as individuals, and also for the church as a whole. Men tend to be pretty good at reading situations. They tend to be pretty good at recognizing when harmful things are trying to creep into the church unannounced. And that's a safeguard for us as a whole, as a church body. So let's let them do that job and accept that this is a good thing for the protection of all of us. And when we think about being a leader in the church, being a teacher, being a pastor, these things are really a calling and a burden. Like, it might sound cool in theory to do that or to have that role, but this is a huge burden. The book of James actually talks about this, that this is a very high calling. And so be thankful that that calling is not on your shoulders. So we should want to be different as women. Women are important in this world, in our church. And so why would we all but want to disappear by making ourselves be just like men? No, we have a unique gifting and a unique influence as women. The things we do, the things we are good at, this is something that the men can't do in the same way, right? We bring everything that is beautiful and elegant and refined to this world. Let's not erase that by sliding into what the men do. They have their own different unique giftings, but that's not what we do. I mean, think about this. A little child who is playing at the park and they fall and get hurt. Who do they cry for? Mom, right? That's because we as women fill that role. We are the tender nurturers. Like, this is part of who we are innately, and that's a great thing. But that's something that the men don't have, right? And when we try to be just like the men and do just what they do, we lose that special calling, that special gifting. So let's be excited and happy about the way God has made us and the unique roles and encouragement that we can have. And so as we close, I would just like to encourage you, as you're thinking about these things, find an older godly woman and talk to them about this. You know, talk more with your pastor or an elder at your church. Get some good advice about how this could specifically apply to you. And if you're wrestling through these things, if you have more questions, talk with them about that. This is a good thing, and pray a lot. Pray and ask God to really help change your heart. I admit I did that quite a bit over the last few years. I've been really asking God, I don't understand this, I don't like this. Please help change my heart. Take those wrong thoughts away and help me to align with what your word says so that I can be honoring to you. That's all for today. I hope that that's an encouragement to you. If it is, please like and subscribe and share with someone who needs to hear this. And until next time, remember that you are fully blessed because of the work that Jesus has done for you. So go and be a blessing.